Hello everybody and welcome to the Octagon. I'm your host, Stonefist Sam.
And I'm your co-host, Crusader Cade.
Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about motivation and poetry.
With us here today is Isaac Bowman, student of UNL, here with us to talk about his motivational project.
Isaac, thank you for joining us.
No,
Pleasure having you on.
Great to be here.
Awesome. So what exactly is this motivational project that you've been doing this semester?
Yeah, so it's for my psychology class, and basically we have to choose a goal that we think we can complete by the end of the semester and track our weekly progress of somewhat completing it in the middle or not completing it at all, and just tracking it and sending in motivation journals on basically how we're doing, what's kind of influencing us, what theories we think are applying to our goal, and just kind of tracking our progress and seeing if it's actually benefiting us in the end.
Awesome. So what was your specific goal that you set for yourself at the beginning of the semester?
Yeah, so one thing I really liked about the assignment in general, because it was for a grade for the class, was that it was very autonomous and that each student was able to choose what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it, and kind of the time frame when they want to do it, like when they think they would be able to achieve it. And so I guess for my goal, I decided to do poetry. It's kind of something I got into in college, and kind of with the more free time you have in college compared to high school, just take it up and I start writing. And so I decided to post my poems on Reddit, which is a platform where you can get upvotes, which are technically sort of like likes, and you can get comments and feedback. So I wanted to post a poem to try and get 15 upvotes by the end of the semester.
Awesome. So we did a little bit of research, and your first poem was called Time, and that one got 10 upvotes, and then your second, called Inevitable, got 8 upvotes. So not quite reaching that goal, but still getting a fair amount of upvotes. So how exactly did that make you feel?
Yeah, so early on, I really wasn't expecting to get any sort of, I wasn't expecting to achieve my goal in the first place, just because with any goal, you have to start somewhere and build up to that. It's not going to be instantaneous, or else it's not really a goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just something you can already achieve. And so I really wasn't disheartened by that. I guess it was good to see that I was getting some attention or some sort of feedback and likes on them. That was kind of motivating. And so it really was kind of a starting point. I really wasn't going to feel probably too excited or too disheartened by whatever the result was. But yeah, it was a good starting place to see where they were at.
Awesome. Sounds good. Cade, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, definitely. So your first poem that you wrote was called Time.
Yeah.
And that one you got only 10 upvotes.
Yeah.
Explain that one to me. What was your thought process going into your first poem that you...
Yeah, so Time was a poem I spent a lot of time working on, because I thought it was going to be... I tried to do a lot for my very first thing for this project. So I just kind of tried to intertwine nature and time in a way to where as time progresses, like vegetables and stuff like that also come into what they are going to be and how they will become what they become. It sounds kind of cheesy, but I thought it would just kind of interesting to tie that in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, so that was kind of my process behind that, and just trying to just see an initial first reaction on a poem.
All right, yeah, definitely. All right, so going from that one that did not meet your goal to your third one that you wrote called I Love You,
Yeah.
which got 75 upvotes, which obviously surpasses your goal of 15. How did that make you feel, just getting so many?
Yeah, so it was kind of a shock at the beginning, because at the beginning I only think I had around 10 upvotes on that poem before I went to bed, and then I woke up and I had like 60 to 70 upvotes on it, and it kind of got a little more as the day went on. So that was really exciting to see that I'd already completed my goals so early on in the project. And that did give me a sense of like feeling confident in that I was able to do this, and I sort of belonged to this online community. And like feeling in an online community is more independent. So while I may not have been introduced or inducted into this said community, feeling independent and like self-esteem was high and self-worth was high. So I kind of just put myself in that community, feeling that I was in there with the other people that were in there.
Okay, all right. And do you want to go into like what the poem was about?
Oh,
or
yeah,
why
for
you
sure.
thought it did so well?
So looking back on it, looking back at some of the other poems that did well on the said subreddit, which is called, I think it's Poetry OC, and a lot of the poems there are very human oriented with emotions, kind of tying with the class, I guess, and just trying to be more relatable and not so distant and trying to find some sort of deeper meaning. While there may be some sort of like layer deeper meaning in the poem, it just comes off as more readable and people are actually able to understand it better compared to if I try and bring off some sort of human touch with, say, some of the other poems I wrote with, like about sunflowers or just inevitability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So as said before, you did get 75 upvotes, which is a ton more than your initial goal.
Yeah.
Did you set any other goals after that?
Yeah, so after that, I tried to set a goal of getting 25, just because I feel like it wasn't too much to where I was overshooting or too little to where I was trying to underachieve the goal I'd already performed. And so I guess some sort of like smaller goals I set to work up towards getting that bigger 25 goal, again, was looking back and seeing what people were saying about my poems and what they thought I could work on, or just seeing like what the whole subreddit was liking in general at that time. Because as time progressed, stuff was getting, it kind of just depended on what was talked about in the news and how you could turn that into something else and relate to something else. And so I just tried to look back and see what was going on. So I tried to do a little bit of writing about that. And then I did a little bit of research on like other poets and techniques that they might have used and how they might have wrote. So that's another little goal in there that I did to try and get under that, the main goal of getting 25 to work up to that. But I didn't achieve my goal of hitting over 25 again because I think I felt that I was already my ideal self after hitting the 15 and that I was kind of past my past self or actual self. And then that I really didn't need to go back because I already was my ideal self of being a professional poet, which is my dream job, which is far out, which is why it's an ideal self. But I am still my actual self because I'm not a professional poet and I'm still a student at UNL.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, awesome. So, for others wanting to pursue a goal, do you think doing a motivational project for intrinsic value would be something beneficial to them?
Oh yeah, of course. I guess that's one thing I really liked about the assignment is that it was kind of both extrinsic and intrinsic, because extrinsic for grade-wise and trying to get a good grade in the class, and the intrinsic with being autonomous and it being for yourself. So I think no matter what goal you're doing, whether it be big or small, like my goal being small with writing poetry or a big goal being running a marathon per se, having something to do in life is important to actually becoming self-actualized and becoming who you are and not just being stagnant and just staying where you're at in life. It provides you with some sort of road that you can travel instead of a roadblock.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, that's all the time we've got today. Thank you for joining us on the Pentagon, the Octagon. I'm your host, Stonefish Sam.
And as always, I'm the co-host, Crusader Cade.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good night.
We'll see you